Primetime is brought to you by Misho, Amrutanjan Fruitnik Electro Plus, Dehydrate Feel Alive, TVS Jupiter 125, Zada Se Bhi Zada, Flipkart, India ka fashion capital, Everyday Spices, Leah Agarbatti, TVS Apache RTR, and Himalaya Purifying Neem Face Wash, Pimple Free, Healthy Skin ka expert.
BJP eyes clean sweep in Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council polls. Grand swearing-in ceremony planned. Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma likely to attend swearing-in ceremony. Congress draws blank in Karbi Anglong Council polls. APCC President blames indiscipline within party for repeated droppings. Search and rescue operations intensified to trace 2 Jawans missing from Arunachal's Anjao district. Multiple search teams deployed. Mega eviction drive in Manipur as state government acts tough against encroachers. Drive carried out from ITI Lilong to Waithau Khongan Karak of Imphal More National Highway. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma takes strong exception to poor show by a section of government schools in HSLC examinations, gives veiled warning to teachers. And Yogi Adityanath government continues to act tough against protesters, bulldozers out in Prayagraj in Assam, Section 144 imposed in Karimganj, Kachar. Hello and welcome to Evening Prime. I'm Ronak and we start the bulletin with the big story we've been tracking today. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma's campaign blitzkrieg in Karbi Anglong has resulted in the BJP managing a clean sweep of the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council elections. The otherwise little followed council elections was rendered high profile this time around, with Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma addressing close to 24 public rallies in the nook and corners of the hill districts in the run-up to the polls. The swearing-in ceremony for the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council polls is slated to be a grand affair, with the event scheduled for either the 14th or the 15th of June. As per inputs, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma will in all likelihood attend the swearing-in ceremony. The KAAC poll victory adds another feather to the BJP cap, with the party winning it all even at the grassroots level since the Himanta Biswa Sharma government took charge last year. As per latest inputs, BJP candidates have won 18 of the 26 seats and is leading in the remaining 8 council seats as well. And the visuals on your screens speak for themselves, viewers. This has been a thumping victory for the BJP, a clean sweep to be precise. The people of Karbi Anglong, the BJP said, have voted for peace and development.
No, 22 result declare high goal, 22 high goal jika high goal আর 26 আমার সমস্যা অপজিশন মাত্র 90 পাইছে 9000 মই পালৈ ফার্স্ট রাউন্ড কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাজ্যৰ মই একদম অন্তৰৰ পৰা তেখেতসকলক মই जितु मरम जितु आशीर्वाद दिसे मैं अंतरर পৰা চিৰ জীৱনলৈকে মই ধন্যবাদ দিছো।
It may be mentioned that the BJP had contested in 26 seats, the Congress in 24, the ASDC in 17, while the Aam Aadmi Party in 10 seats.
কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাজ্যে ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টি ভাল পায়, নীতি আদৰ্শ লগতে নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়া ভাল পায় আৰু অমিত শাহ ডাঙৰীয়া ভাল পায়, জেপি নাড্ডা ভাল পায় আৰু ডক্টৰ হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মা বিশেষকৈ ডক্টৰ হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মা ডাঙৰীয়া মানে তেখেতসকলৰ কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাইজে যিটো নেকি ইয়াৰ ৰাইজে কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাইজে সহজ সৰল মানুহবিলাক যে কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাইজে সহজ সৰল মানুহ ইয়াত মানুহে যদি মিছা কথা কয় তেনেহ'লে খুব বেয়া পায় দুইবাৰ তিনিবাৰ যদি মিছা কথা কয় কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাইজে বেয়া পায় গতিকে মিছা কথা আপোনালোকে ক'ব নালাগে ময়ে নকওঁ কেতিয়াও ক'ব নালাগে
তথাপি যদি বিৰোধী নাইকিয়া হৈ যায় অলপ দুখ লাগিব নেকি মনত
যদিটো কি ক'ম মানে মই
ভূপেন বৰা কিন্তু আহিছিলে যথেষ্ট fight কৰি
ভূপেন
আহিছিলে।
বৰাটো জানে তেওঁ নিজে সমষ্টিটো তাতো হাৰিছে ইয়াত কাৰ্বি আংলঙৰ পলিটিক্স ৰাজনীতিক চিনি পাব নেকি ইয়াত যিবিলাকৰ ৰাইজৰ ইয়াত কাৰ্বি আংলং অকল কাৰ্বিসকলৰ বসবাস কৰা নহয় সকলো জাতি জনগোষ্ঠীয়ে ইয়াত বসবাস কৰে আমি কাৰ্বি আংলং সকলো জনজাতিৰ লগত থাকি কাৰ্বি আংলং 5টা বছৰ আমি শান্তি বুজাই ৰাখিছোঁ
জননীতি কথাটো কি ক'ব
জয়ন্তী কাথাৰ এতিয়া পলিটিক্স নাজানে ৰাজনীতি আহিছেতো এই অফিচাৰ্ছ পৰা ৰাজনীতি সোমাইছে গতিকে তেখেতে লাহে লাহে বুজি পাব
আপুনি কৈছিলে যে যদি অসমৰ ভিতৰতে এখন উন্নত আৰু সকলো যি শান্তি আৰু প্ৰগতি সেই সকলোবোৰ দেখা পাব কাৰ্বি আংলঙত
কাৰ্বি আংলং হ'ব আপোনালোকে চাই থাকক
হয়
আজি ডক্টৰ হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মা ডাঙৰীয়া আশীৰ্বাদ থাকিলে গোটেইখিনি হৈ যাব আৰু নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়া
ৰাস্তা ঘাট দলং যথেষ্ট
গোটেইখিনি হৈ যাব আপোনালোকে চিন্তা কৰিব নালাগে ডক্টৰ হিমন্ত বিশ্ব শৰ্মা ডাঙৰীয়া আৰু লগতে অমিত শ্বাহ ডাঙৰীয়া আৰু লগতে নৰেন্দ্ৰ মোদী ডাঙৰীয়া আশীৰ্বাদ থাকিলে কাৰ্বি আংলং এনেকৈ পৰিৱৰ্তন হ'ব
বহুত এলিগেশ্যন হৈছে আপোনাৰ
এলিগেশ্যন ৰাইজে ভোট দিছে এতিয়া যিমান এলিগেশ্যন কৰিছে যিমান অপপ্ৰচাৰ কৰিছে মনোসজা কথা এলিগেশ্যনে এইবিলাক আপুনিও ক'ব পাৰে মনোসজা কথা যিবিলাকৰ মনোসজা কথা তেওঁলোকৰ এলিগেশ্যন আনিছে গতিকে কাৰ্বি আংলং ৰাইজে ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টি ভাল পায়
চিফ মিনিষ্টাৰ অলৰেডি ডিক্লেয়াৰ কৰিলে আপুনি চিএম হ'ব বুলি অলৰেডি কেম্পেইনো কৰি দিছে কি ক'ব
ৰাইজে যিটো দলে ভাৰতীয় জনতা পাৰ্টি যদি মোক এই সুবিধাটো দিয়ে ময়ো আদৰণি কৰিব লাগিব যি দায়িত্ব দিয়ে তাকে কাম কৰিব লাগিব কালি ভিতৰত কালি আপোনালোকে যে ঝাৰু মাৰিব লাগে এইটো কৰিব লাগিব
কিন্তু আপোনাক চিএম বুলি অলৰেডি ডিক্লেয়াৰ কৰিছে
যদি ৰাইজে দলে যদি যি মোক দায়িত্ব দিয়ে সেইটোতো মানিব লাগিব
And earlier in the evening, Northeast Live editor-in-chief Wasbir Hussain gave his perspective on the factors which led to the BJP's thumping victory. Let's listen in.
The campaign blitz that was launched by Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, addressing 19 rallies across Karbi Anglong in a span of 4 days, that has resulted in this sweeping victory. BJP clearly has swept the Karbi Anglong District Council. There are 26 seats in the Karbi Anglong District Council. BJP has already won in 10 or 11 seats. Latest reports coming in. They have already won in 11 seats. The latest trends indicate that their contestants, BJP candidates, are having a comfortable lead in the rest of the constituencies. So we can rightly say at this point in time that the BJP has absolutely swept the elections in Karbi Anglong. Now, that was as the Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma said, the win was on expected lines. At the end of the day, the BJP fought these elections on the plank of peace and development. And we were talking to the Tuliram Ronghang, the outgoing CEM, Chief Executive Member of the Karbi Anglong District Council. He had also said before the short while ago he said that peace and development will be the top priority of the new BJP-led council in Karbi Anglong. And earlier when we spoke to him, the Tuliram Ronghang said that this election was fought on the agenda of peace and development. So the peace and development agenda of the BJP has absolutely clicked, and the polls that was always been little noticed, the elections to the district council in Karbi Anglong, but this time it has become an absolutely high-profile poll thanks to Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, who campaigned relentlessly. 19 meetings, remember 19 meetings in a span of 4 days for a chief minister. And as Tuliram Ronghang, a veteran political player, said in the morning, he said that he had not seen in his political career any other chief minister campaigning so vigorously for a council election in favor of his party. So all these combined together, a weak opposition, a disjointed opposition, and that was admitted conducted by none other than the Bhupen Bora, the Assam Congress president. The Congress still should be considered as the main opposition party. The chief of that party, Bhupen Bora, said a short while ago that the Congress loss is because of internal indiscipline. That is the word he used, internal indiscipline. So this is a constant drubbing that the Congress has faced from ever since 2021 assembly elections. Then we had the panchayat elections. Then we had the municipal council elections. Then with the Guwahati Municipal Corporation elections, and now the Karbi Anglong polls. The Congress's drubbing has been absolutely complete, and that is there is that void left behind by the Congress. The void left behind by the Congress is sought to be filled by parties like the Aam Aadmi Party, but without much of a success. In the Guwahati Municipal Corporation election, the Aam Aadmi Party won one ward, and in the Panchayat elections, they have won a couple of committees in Eastern Assam. So apart from that, apart from showing some early morning leads, and Aam Aadmi Party is not leading anymore. That's what we are reports getting in as far as Karbi Anglong is concerned. On the whole, BJP's plank of peace and development yielding results. Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma's vigorous campaign has yielded results, and one can say that this election results in Karbi Anglong can be considered as a referendum to the one-year-old government of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma, the one-year-old BJP-led government of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sharma. It is can be considered as a referendum.
And meanwhile, we have reactions coming in from BJP's D. Ufing Maslai, who has won from the Amri seat. He defeated his nearest rival by a margin of over 900 votes.
মই প্ৰথম প্ৰতিক্ৰিয়া হিচাপে আমৰিৰ ৰাইজক মই ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিছোঁ তেখেতে পুনৰ অট'নমাছ কাউন্সিললৈ নিৰ্বাচিত কৰাৰ বাবে
পৰিকল্পনা কি আছে যেহেতু প্ৰথমবাৰ আকৌ আপোনাৰ জয়লাভ কৰিলে কি পৰিকল্পনা আছে
পৰিকল্পনাটো এতিয়া উন্নয়নৰ কামবিলাক মই জোৰ দিম ৰাস্তাই হওক বা এডুকেশ্যন ইনষ্টিটিউচনে হওক টুৰিজিমে হওক এইবিলাক মই জোৰ দিম
এতিয়া 9টা পৰিষদীয় সমষ্টি 8টা এতিয়াও বিজেপিয়ে লিড লৈ আছে ফলাফলৰ ক্ষেত্ৰত আপুনি কি ক'ব
9টা সমষ্টি ৱেষ্ট কাৰ্বি আংলঙৰ 9টা সমষ্টি 9টাতে বিজেপি মানে জয় লাভ কৰিব ৰাইজক মই এইটোৱে
We also have reactions coming in from another winning candidate, Ritesh Inghi, who has won from the Nomati seat.
We have with us a winning candidate from Nomati constituency, Ritesh Inghi. Well, initial reaction.
This is not my winning, but it's winning of my constituency people by the blessing of everyone elderly and also and I have some vision. So coming this we have education policy, how to for more better societies and all these things. There are a lot of planning today. I'm happy all of because my Korjakarta, they are working day and night, and also our BJP government has given some of the very some scheme and all this thing, and also the people of Nomati are hoping too much that so in coming days everything and every side it will be better.
So after winning, what would be your priority sector in your
My
constituency?
priority sector is education. Education will be the first and foremost priority, as we have discussed, as we have during the election campaign, and all, we visited many of the places, and there we have seen that some education policy has to be adopted.
So definitely after winning, there is expectation
Yes.
of getting EM.
Getting them we have a party, a BJP is a party with difference. So whatever a party have given it's depend upon the party. I'll go with the decision of the party, and I'll be party as a good BJP party worker.
Lastly, what is the margin you have won?
3,447.
And meanwhile, BJP's Kadam Terangpi emerged victorious from the Horupothar seat.
ইমান সহায় যোগ কৰি আৰু আমাৰ লগতে মণ্ডল কমিটি আছে আৰু আমাৰ মহিলা মৰ্যাদা মই সবকে মানে বহুত বহুত ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিছোঁ আৰু মোৰ আমাৰ ডক্টৰ CM তুলৰাম ৰহাং ছাৰক মই বহুত বহুত ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিছোঁ মোৰ কেম্পেইন সময় মই ক'লো আমি জয় কৰা পাছত কালি পৰহি আমি মণ্ডল কমিটি আছে মোৰ লগত আৰু আমাৰ টিকেট দাবিদাৰ মোৰ লগত আছে মই সব মিলি আমি একেলগে আলোচনা কৰি আমি কাম কৰিব আগবাঢ়িম
We also have reactions coming in from Abhijit Crow, BJP's winning candidate from Chingthong seat.
জিকিলো ৰাইজে কাৰণে জিকিলো বহুত হেপী হৈছোঁ মই তাৰপিছত ফাৰ্ষ্ট অফ অল চিনথং ৰাইজে কাৰণে থেংক ইউ দিছোঁ আমি চিনথঙত 20 বছৰ ফাইট কৰিলোঁ 20 বছৰ ফাইট কৰি কিন্তু আজিৰ পৰা যিমান কষ্ট আছে গুচি যাব 20 বছৰ কষ্ট কৰিলোঁ আজি উইনাৰ হৈ গ'ল আমি ৰোডটো বনাব লাগিব আপোনাৰ ৰোড মিডিয়া কেইটা অহা কষ্ট তাৰপিছত আমি স্কুল কলেজ আমি যাওঁ বহুত কষ্ট হয় তাৰপিছত তাত আমি বিজনেছবোৰ বহুত ভাল কিন্তু আমি ট্ৰেন্সপৰ্টেশ্যনৰ কাৰণে বহুত কষ্ট হয় তাৰপিছত এইটো কাৰণে আমি ফাৰ্ষ্ট অফ অল ৰাস্তা বনাম ৰোড ফাৰ্ষ্টত ৰোড তাৰপিছত এডুকেশ্যন তাৰপিছত হস্পিটেল তাৰপিছত টুৰিজম তাৰপিছত এগ্ৰিকালচাৰ ৱাইজলি আহি থাকিব
And meanwhile, the Congress has drawn blank in the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council polls. The party has accepted defeat. So let's listen in to what State Party President Bhupen Bora has to say about the dropping.
আমি চেষ্টা কৰিছিলোঁ যে বিৰোধীৰো এটা স্থান কাৰ্বি আংলং স্বায়ত্তশাসিত পৰিষদত থাকিলে ভাল হয় ৰাইজে কিছু সঁহাৰিও দিছিলে গোটেইকেইটা ছাইডতে আমি সমানে যুঁজিব পৰা নাই কিছু সীমাবদ্ধতা আমাৰ আছিলে এইটো হয় যে 14 চনৰ পৰা এতিয়ালৈকে প্ৰায় 8 বছৰ সময় গোটেই ভাৰতবৰ্ষ জুৰি পেলাই বিভিন্ন নিৰ্বাচনবিলাকত আমি খুব কমেই জিকিছোঁ একেবাৰে শোচনীয় হোৱা নাই আৰু পৰিৱৰ্তনৰ আৰম্ভণি হৈছিলে আমাৰ দলৰ আৰু চৰকাৰৰ মাজত সেই সময়ত এটা খোৱা কামোৰা বিশৃংখলিত পৰিস্থিতি যিটো এতিয়াও শেষ হোৱাকৈ নাই এতিয়াও কম বেছি পৰিমাণে এটা ইনডিচিপ্লিন যিটো কয় এইটো আমাৰ কাৰণে দুৰ্ভাগ্য সম্পূৰ্ণ শৃংখলাটো যদি অহা নাই তাৰ কাৰণে মই নিজকো জগৰীয়া বুলি ক'ব লাগিব দলৰ সভাপতি হিচাপে মোৰো এইটো দায়িত্ব যে দলটোক এটা শৃংখলাবদ্ধ ৰূপত আগুৱাই নিয়া
So that was, of course, APCC President Bhupen Bora talking about once again the drubbing that the Grand Old Party has been meted out, and this time in the KAAC polls. And according to Bhupen Bora, the indiscipline within the party ranks is to be blamed for the Congress once again staring at defeat in the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council polls. And of course, as you can see on your screens, viewers, the celebrations have broken out all across Karbi Anglong with BJP party workers and supporters all cheering on one another clean sweep for the Saffron Party. And now this has become another big feather in the cap of Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma, as now the BJP government has reached right down to the grassroots level ever since the Himanta Biswa Sharma-led state government came to power. And of course, it is only a matter of time now, viewers, before things are made official, although it is already all but done that the BJP is going for another clean sweep. We are just awaiting for the official announcement to be made, which will not be too far from now. And of course, we will be connecting with our Chief of Bureau, Arindam Das, who will be joining me live from Ground Zero to give us a feel of what the mood, what the atmosphere is like over there. Of course, as you can see, the glimpses of the celebrations coming out, which have broken out in Karbi Anglong. And let's not forget, viewers, Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma's peace and development agenda has once again worked wonders for the BJP. Another clean sweep for the Saffron Party, riding on the backs of the blitzkrieg campaigning that was conducted by Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma in the run-up to the Karbi Anglong Council polls. All right, we'll slip into a very short break here, viewers, but don't go anywhere. Lots more coming up on at the other side. Stay tuned. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel in the region. On YouTube, unmatched coverage.
Build your dream at the Assam Royal Global University. Success is not an overnight phenomenon. You need to work hard and go through the grind every day to achieve what you want. Engineer, fashion designer, or someone working in the field of medical science, or the CEO of your own company, you can dream anything and make that happen here at the Assam Royal Global University.
आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में बड़े छोटे साथ आओ ऐश करो नाच गाओ मस्ती में आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में
মই ব্যৱহাৰ কৰোঁ আটাইতকৈ সবল আৰু সতেজ চিমেণ্ট সূৰ্যা চিমেণ্ট সূৰ্যা চিমেণ্ট অটুট ঘৰ অটুখন
সুগন্ধ ৰং আৰু সোৱাদ খাতি এভৰিডে জিভাত দিয়ে আচল জুতি Everyday spices, 100% taste. Everyday spices, best.
आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में बड़े छोटे साथ आओ ऐश करो नाच गाओ मस्ती में आओ यहाँ बार बार खेलो झूमो कूदो यहाँ मस्ती में
Welcome back, viewers, and continuing with all the latest updates from the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council poll results. Well, let me now go straight across to our Chief of Bureau, Arindam Das, who is standing by from Karbi Anglong to bring us all the latest updates. Yes, Arindam Das, how is the mood over there currently? What is the atmosphere like? Celebrations have, of course, broken out in several parts, celebrating the BJP's clean sweep victory. So what are your sources telling you right now? How is the mood over there like? Arindam, over to you.
Well, the mood in the BJP camp is very upbeat, and celebrations are on across Karbi Anglong. But in Difu, as of now, we haven't seen much of a celebration because all the top leaders are camping at other stations and they are yet to arrive at Difu. And they will arrive, celebrations will begin. But let me tell you that so far, results, though not officially declared, we have got to know that out of the 26 constituencies, BJP has won in 18 seats already. So only 8 seats are left to be counted. From this trend, we can clearly say that BJP is once again set to sweep the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council elections, and they are going to form the council here. In fact, this election has turned out to be a high-profile election for the Bharatiya Janata Party because we have seen someone like the Chief Minister of Assam spearheading the election campaign. He has campaigned 19 rallies in a day span of 4 days, and apart from the other leaders, ministers and MLAs who were here for the campaigning. So on the other hand, we haven't seen much of enthusiasm from the opposition camp. In fact, we can say that they had already gone to the grounds thinking that they will not make it in these elections, and the results are right now quite clear. The BJP is all set to sweep the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Council elections, and as I have mentioned that though not officially declared, but yes, so we have got confirmed reports that BJP has won in 18 out of the 26 constituencies so far. Only 8 constituency seats counting is left, so that will also come out because you see the election process this time has taken place through ballot papers and not through EVM. So there are certain constituencies which are larger, which has a larger number of voters. Say for the the Lumbojang constituency, which constitutes the Difu town. Here alone, over 70,000 voters are there. So constituencies like Lumbojang and other such bigger constituencies are left where the results are yet to emerge. But yes, in those 8 remaining seats also, we can say that the BJP is leading way ahead of the opposition.
Right, Arindam Das, thank you very much for joining us this evening and bringing us all of those latest updates from ground zero at this point in time. And of course, it is only a matter of time now before things are made official. All right, moving on now, viewers, to another big story. Intensive search operations are underway to trace the two Indian Army personnel deployed in forward areas of Arunachal Pradesh's Anjao district who went missing on the 28th of May. As per inputs, Naik Prakash Singh and Lance Naik Harinder Singh, deployed in a forward post of Arunachal Pradesh, may have accidentally fallen into a fast-flowing river in close proximity to their post. And despite immediate and extensive search and rescue operations, including aerial reconnaissance and tracker dogs being pressed into action, no success in the recovery of the personnel has been achieved so far. These search operations have been continuing for the last couple of weeks. A court of inquiry to investigate into the incident has also been convened by the Indian Army. Family members of the two soldiers of Garhwal Rifles have been informed of the unfortunate incident. Yes, viewers, another big development coming in, another big update, in fact, as intensive search operations are underway to trace the two Indian Army personnel deployed in forward areas of Anjao district in Arunachal Pradesh who went missing on the 28th of May. As per inputs, Nayak Prakash Singh and Lance Nayak Harinder Singh, deployed in a forward post of Arunachal Pradesh, may have accidentally fallen into a fast-flowing river in close proximity to their post. Despite immediate and extensive search and rescue operations, including aerial reconnaissance and tracker dogs also being pressed into action, no success in the recovery has been achieved so far. The search operations have been continuing for the last 2 weeks, and a court of inquiry to investigate into the incident has also been convened by the Army. Family members of the two soldiers of Garhwal Rifles have been informed of the unfortunate incident. And to bring us all the latest updates, I'm being joined now over the phone line by my colleague Ripunjoy Das. Ripunjoy, no trace of the missing Jawans yet. However, the China angle has been completely ruled out, isn't it?
Yes, Ronak, that angle has been completely ruled out based upon what the Chinese authorities have informed their counterpart in Indian Army. That is through the hotline engagement which they had. This was communicated to us by the SP of Anjao district, Neha Yadav, yesterday itself. However, Ronak, what is quite interesting is that today the press release which has been issued by the Army authorities, that statement says that the court of inquiry has been ordered. So that is quite important. Now, since there is no trace of these two Jawans of for the last 2 days, the 14th day, they went missing on 28th May as per the FIR, which we have accessed from our sources. So FIR copy itself says that during the routine roll call, which is a mandatory exercise whenever in an army unit in the evening hours. During that routine roll call only, it was found that these two Jawans are missing. Now that has become a matter of concern, that what might have happened, because it means that if we go by the army statement, it means that the army was not aware till the roll call that two of their men are missing, and that is quite big because that post is Kapapo post, which is in Anjao district, and Chaglagam from Chaglagam to Kapapu is a 31-kilometer foot march. So these are quite interesting things which are coming up, and let's see what happens next, since the army is carrying out an extensive search operation through all possible resources which it have, including low-flying choppers, specially trained tracker dogs, and high-tech drones. Let us see that, Ronak, what happens next.
Absolutely. We are all hoping for the best. Ripunjoy Das, thank you very much for joining us this evening and bringing us all of those latest details. On to another big story now in what has come as Manipur government's tough stand on illegal encroachers of protected forest land in Manipur. A mega eviction drive was carried out today at the Waitho Protected Forest area. The eviction drive was carried out in a nearly 2.5-kilometer stretch from ITI Lilong to Waitho Khongan Karak of the Imphal More National Highway. Notably, the drive is a follow-up of a joint survey conducted by the Forest and State Revenue Departments. On the other hand, the joint survey was facilitated by a departmental coordination that was put in place to identify encroachment in the protected forest lands. Speaking to the media, District Forest Officer of Thobal, T.H. Lokendra Singh, said that a total of about 180 illegal structures have been identified during the joint survey carried out by the state's forest and revenue departments. And today, on the first day of the eviction drive, as many as 69 such structures have been demolished.
Process going on at Waitho Protected Forest. So it affects from the most of parts of the Waitho Protected Forest, starting from ITI Lilong area up to this Waitho Khongnang Kachin area, and it covers more than 180 encroachers, out of which we are evicting 69 today. And for this, we have served this eviction notice on 10th of this month, and that they have been asked to remove their belongings by 5 p.m. of 11, that means yesterday. And most of them have, voluntarily removed their houses, except few. And those who have not evicted by themselves. So we have used machineries like JCBs, and we have started evicting them right now.
On to another big story now. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma has taken a strong note of the poor performance by a section of government schools in the recently conducted HSLC examinations. In a veiled warning to teachers of non-performing schools, Chief Minister Sharma said that there can be no excuse for non-performance when teachers are getting salaries on time. Taking a sarcastic dig at the media persons questioning him over poor results, Chief Minister Sharma said that if the media stops sympathizing with non-performing schools and teachers, things can be fixed within 2 years. Chief Minister Sharma also cited an example when teachers were seen protesting on school day. The Assam Chief Minister said that such behavior is not acceptable. Yes, viewers, stern warning by the Assam Chief Minister as Himanta Biswa Sharma has taken a strong note of the poor performance by a section of government schools in the recently concluded HSLC examinations. In a veiled warning to teachers of non-performing schools, Chief Minister Sharma said that there can be no excuse for non-performance when teachers are getting salaries on time. Taking a sarcastic dig at media persons questioning him over poor results, Chief Minister Sharma said that if the media stops sympathizing with non-performing schools and teachers, things can be fixed within just 2 years' time. Chief Minister Sharma also cited an example when teachers were seen protesting on school day. The Assam Chief Minister said that such behavior is not acceptable.
আপোনালোকে এই প্ৰশ্নখিনি শিক্ষকসকলক কৰিব লাগিব আকৌ তেওঁলোকে আন্দোলন কৰিলে আপোনালোকে পাব্লিচিটি দিয়ে মইতো আপোনালোককে বহুত দুখ দিম এইটো ক্ষেত্ৰত কৰবাত যদি গভৰ্ণমেণ্টে শিক্ষকসকলৰ ওপৰত অলপ কঠোৰ হ'ব খোজে বা প্ৰশাসকসকলৰ ওপৰত কঠোৰ হ'ব খোজে তাতে আপোনালোকে মাজত আহি সোমাই দিয়ে গতিকে আপোনালোকে যদি 2 বছৰ নুখুমাই মাজত একেবাৰে 100ৰ ওপৰত পাছ হৈ যাব মইতো আৰম্ভ কৰিছিলো যিসকলে কমপ্লিট ফেল কৰিছিলে হেডমাষ্টাৰসকলক মাতি আনি মই কথাও খুদিছিলো আপোনালোকে মাজত সোমাই গল শিক্ষাগুৰুক অপমান কৰিলে অমুক কৰিলে মই বাদ দি দিলো এতিয়া লৰাবিলাক ফেল কৰিলে কিন্তু তাৰ পিছৰ বছৰ গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট স্কুল সকলোতে 100% পাছ কৰিছিলে। শিক্ষকৰ মাজতো সকলো 5টা আঙুলি সমান নহয়। সেই শিক্ষকৰ সন্মান কোনে পাব? যোনে সম্পূৰ্ণভাৱে শিক্ষকৰ মৰ্যাদাটো গাত বান্ধি লয়। কিন্তু যদি শিক্ষক হৈ LICৰ এজেণ্টটো হয়, তাক আমি LICৰ এজেণ্ট হিচাপে গণ্য কৰিম নে শিক্ষক হিচাপে গণ্য কৰিম? এই কথাখিনি ক'লে আপোনালোকে মাজত আহি সোমাই দিয়ে। অকণমান আমি সকলোৱে ইয়াৰ দায়িত্ব ল'ব লাগিব, অকল শিক্ষামন্ত্ৰীক দায়িত্ব দিলে নহ'ব। এই যে 8খন জিলা, ইয়াতে 103খনত আপোনালোকে দেখিছে যে ল'ৰা পাছ কৰা নাই। যদি ভিতৰত সোমাই যায় আপোনালোকে দেখিবই যে ইয়াত কোনো ডেস্ক বেঞ্চৰ প্ৰশ্ন নাই, বিল্ডিঙৰ প্ৰশ্ন নাই, দৰমহা সময়ত পাইছে। কিন্তু তেওঁলোকে জানে যে চৰকাৰে কিবা একশ্যন ল'লে আমাকতো বচোৱা মানুহ বহুত আছে। আপোনালোকে মাজত নোসোমা বুলি ক'ব লাগিব। আপোনালোকৰ কাৰণে বিপদ হয় নহয়। মই ক'লো নহয়, মই এতিয়াও মোৰ ভিডিঅ'টো চাব 5 লাখ 6 লাখ ভিউ আছে। মই সেৱাত মাতি নি ইমান ধুনীয়াকৈ কৰিছিলোঁ। লাগিলে মই এদিন অপমানে হলো। 10জন ছাত্ৰ যদি পিছত পৰীক্ষাত পাছ কৰে, কোনটো বেছি প্ৰয়োজনীয়? আমিতো মৰিম, নতুন প্ৰজন্মটো ভাল হওক। গতিকে নতুন প্ৰজন্মৰ স্বাৰ্থত কোনোবাই যদি 2টা গালিও খালে, সেইটোতো আপত্তি কৰিবলগীয়া নাই। কিন্তু আপোনালোকে টক শ্ব' পাতি এনেকুৱা হুলস্থুল লগাই দিলে মই বাদ দি দিলোঁ। আপোনালোকে কঠোৰ হ'বই নিদিয়ে। শিক্ষকৰ ধৰ্ণা দিয়াত আপত্তি নাই, গৰম বন্ধৰ সময়ত ধৰ্ণা দিব লাগে, নহ'লে ৰবিবাৰে দিব লাগে। স্কুল চলি থকা দিনাখন যেতিয়া ধৰ্ণা দিব যায়, তেতিয়া আপোনালোকে এইটো নিউজ ফ্ৰণ্ট পেজত কৰিব নালাগে নহয়, তেওঁলোকে উৎসাহ পায়। গতিকে অলপ চলপ আমাৰ সকলোৰে দায়বদ্ধতাবিলাক আমি মূৰ পাতি ল'ব লাগিব।
And it may be mentioned that the Assam's Secondary Education Department has served show cause notices on 102 state-run schools for poor results in Class 10 examinations. The total pass percentage this year was 56.49%, which is the lowest in the last 3 years. And well, the fallout of the continued rains can still be seen in parts of the region, including Meghalaya. These are visuals from Rajabala to Halideganj Road, where a bus can be seen stuck on a flooded road. At least 4 people had died in the recent landslides in Garo Hills. Loss to public and private property had also been reported from the Garo Hills districts. Yes, viewers, the fallout of continued rainfall still has its impact being felt in the region, including Meghalaya. And what you see on your screens are the visuals from Rajabala to Halidaiganj Road, where a bus can be seen stuck on a flooded road. At least 4 persons had died in the recent landslides in Garo Hills. Loss to public and private property had also been reported from the Garo Hills district. Meanwhile, it is not just Meghalaya, viewers. Commuters are at the receiving end in parts of Arunachal, as well as with landslides triggered by rains blocking the highway. These are visuals from the Trans-Arunachal Highway near Sili village in Pasighat. Vehicles were left stranded as authorities cleared the debris. Shifting focus now, Union Minister of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying Purushottam Kodabhai Rupala, who is on his Mizoram visit today, inaugurated a hostel at the College of Veterinary Sciences and Animal Husbandry in Aizawl. The Union Minister inaugurated the PG Boys Hostel 2 at the College of the Veterinary Sciences and Animal Husbandry, which is affiliated to the Central Agricultural University in Imphal. Addressing the inauguration ceremony, Union Minister of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Purushottam Kodabhai Rupala, has said that the central government is committed to working for the upliftment of the poorest section of society. Union Minister Purushottam Kodabhai Rupala, during his speech, appreciated the organic farming practiced by the farmers of Mizoram without using pesticides and non-organic fertilizers. In addition to this, Union Minister Rupala also interacted with the farmers and asked all concerned to establish a better coordination between farmers and central agencies to equip them with advanced farming practices and higher yields.
Thanks to the staff of this college.
Namaskar. Good afternoon, speaking. Honorable Vice Chancellor.
On to some other news now. The passing out parade of the Indian Military Academy, or the IMA, was held on Saturday at the Academy's premises in Dehradun. During the elegant parade at the backdrop of the famous Chetpore building, as many as 377 gentlemen cadets or GCs graduated after completion of their training at the country's premier military academy. Take a look. Now, what's even more interesting here, viewers, is that Sumwang Wangsa from Arunachal Pradesh was one of the 377 cadets marching at the IMA passing out parade. With this, Sumwang Wangsa is commissioned into the Indian Army's Gorkha Regiment in Jammu and Kashmir. It may be mentioned here that Sumwang Wangsa is a native of Chasa village in Arunachal's Tirap district. Wangsa did his initial schooling from Ramakrishna Mission School, Narottam Nagar, Deomali, and then joined the Sainik School, Pungalwa, Nagaland in the year 2011. Sumwang Wangsa joined NDA in 2018 and underwent 3 years of rigorous training before joining the Indian Armed Military Academy. And sharing this on Twitter, Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Pema Khandu congratulated Sumwang Wangsa, and Chief Minister Khandu said that this achievement of Sumwang will inspire the youth to join the army and serve the country. On to another big story, viewers. At least 115 people were found infected with COVID-19, while 6,158 were quarantined after a bar-related outbreak that occurred as China relaxed coronavirus measures just a few days ago in Beijing. A Beijing health official said that the outbreak that started at a bar in Beijing is at a rapidly spreading stage, and the transmission risk also remains high. Deputy Director of Beijing Disease Control and Prevention Center during a press conference said that more cases are expected to be discovered amongst the bar visitors and their close contacts. Meanwhile, China's capital Beijing is experiencing an explosive COVID-19 outbreak connected to a bar, and amongst the 115 cases, 107 are visitors to the bar named Heaven Supermarket located in Santilun in Chaoyang district. And well, thousands of demonstrators took to the streets in protest across the United States to push lawmakers to take action against gun violence in the wake of recent mass shootings in Uvalde, Texas and New York. Protesters have turned out to more than 450 rallies nationwide, with the largest gathering taking place in Washington, D.C. The rallies were organized by March for Our Lives, a youth-driven organization first created by students who survived the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida in 2018. March for Our Lives has called for an assault weapons ban, universal background checks for gun purchases, and a national licensing system. Since March for Our Lives last organized nationwide protests back in 2018, mass shootings have become increasingly more frequent. At least 254 mass shootings have taken place in the United States so far this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive.
Louder! Louder! Louder!
How many ways can we say it? Gun violence does not discriminate. It happens everywhere and all the time. It has been happening everywhere all the time because you, Congress, have done nothing to prevent it. This does not have to happen. We have watched
And meanwhile, March for Our Lives demonstrations were also held in New York City. Protesters, angry and tired of the mass shootings, say that they want change or they will head to the ballot box to create their own. Organizers said that more than 150 state laws were passed since the group's last march, but this time they are pushing for federal changes. Marchers made it across the Brooklyn Bridge to Lower Manhattan, where they stopped to listen to a series of speeches. As per the event organizers, they count on strong turnout to lift the gun laws higher on the federal agenda.
Just mean like how we need to stop normalizing this, because I feel because we are getting to a point of like we're constantly getting so many different mass shootings, so many different like school shootings that we're just like normalizing to the point that we're just like this is just a part of life.
I think we're reaching a national tipping point, especially, well, I'm in 9th grade, but as I've seen over the past few years, the amount of gun violence that has happened, I think we're reaching a tipping point where we're about to hit desensitization to gun violence. And I think that we're not there yet. And I think that this is going to be the amount of mass shootings that has happened. I think that if this trend continues and if we don't choose to take this opportunity to fight back, it's going to continue again.
And European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen on Saturday visited Ukraine for discussions with President Volodymyr Zelensky about Ukraine's bid to join the continental bloc. Kyiv has been pushing for rapid admission to the European Union since it sees the prospect of joining the EU as a way of reducing its geopolitical vulnerability, which has been exposed by the Russian invasion. Meanwhile, von der Leyen, on her arrival in Kyiv, tweeted, and I quote, "With President Zelensky, I will take stock of the joint work needed for the reconstruction and the progress made by Ukraine on its European path." Unquote. Addressing the journalist, the European Commission President said that the discussions will feed into their assessment of Ukraine's readiness to be considered a candidate country to begin lengthy negotiations, including needed reforms. Von der Leyen further said that the assessment by her commission will be presented without any given time frame. It may be mentioned here that this is von der Leyen's second trip to Kyiv since the Russian invasion in February. And back to the nation now in what has come as a tough stand of the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath-led Uttar Pradesh government. The Prayagraj administration has carried out a demolition drive at the residence of Javed Mohammed, identified as the mastermind behind the violent protest that broke out in the city. This demolition drive, which took place amidst high security, comes just a day after Uttar Pradesh police named Javed Mohammed as the mastermind behind the violent protests, which erupted against former BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma's remarks on the Prophet. Earlier, the Prayagraj Development Authority, or PDA, had served a notice to Javed to vacate the house by 11 a.m. today. The PDA maintains that the house has been illegally constructed by Javed Mohammed. The mega demolition drive took place today amidst high security in the JK Ashiana colony located in Kareli locality of Prayagraj Old City area. Notably, the accused Javed Mohammed was already arrested in connection with the Prayagraj violence case.
उपद्रवी तत्व जितने भी हैं उनको हमने चिन्हांकित किया है। हमारे पास बहुत सारी सीसीटीवी वीडियो फुटेज है और उसके आधार पे हम लोग निरंतर कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं और जो भी दोषी है उनके खिलाफ कार्रवाई कर रहे हैं, उनकी गिरफ्तारी भी की जा रही है। जो भी दोषी है जिनकी वीडियो फुटेज मिलेगी, जिन उपद्रवी तत्वों ने सार्वजनिक संपत्ति को नुकसान करने का और जो धारा 144 लागू थी उसका उल्लंघन किया है, तो उनके खिलाफ बहुत कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई की जाती रहेगी।
हमारे द्वारा और डीएम साहब के द्वारा और समस्त पुलिस प्रशासन के द्वारा अथक रूप से, बहुत बेहतर और विस्तृत रूप से समझाने बुझाने के बाद, मीटिंग करने के बाद भी शुक्रवार के दिन 10 जून को जो भी घटना हुई थी अटाला एरिया में और खुलदाबाद के अन्य इलाकों में, करेली में, उसमें 29 गंभीर धाराओं में मुकदमा दर्ज किया गया था। अब तक 91 लोगों को हिरासत में लेके कार्रवाई की गई है। इन 23 के खिलाफ सबूत इकट्ठे किए जा रहे हैं। सबूत मिलने पर ही कार्रवाई होगी, किसी बेकसूर पर कार्रवाई कतई नहीं होगी। और उसी सिलसिले में आज जावेद, मोहम्मद जावेद उर्फ जावेद पंप नाम का जो अभियुक्त था, जो अभी तक की तफ्तीश में इस पूरी घटना का सूत्रधार बन के उभर के आया है, उस पे, उसके अवैध निर्माण पे ये जिला प्रशासन और पीडीए के द्वारा कार्रवाई की गई है। इस कार्रवाई के दौरान उसके घर की सर्चिंग भी की गई और उसमें आपत्तिजनक सामान मिले हैं। टोटल जो आपत्तिजनक सामान मिले हैं, जिसमें अवैध असलहे और आपत्तिजनक पोस्टर वगैरह हैं, उसको कब्जे में ले लिया गया है। उसकी सूची बन रही है और उसको तफ्तीश में शामिल किया जाएगा।
And meanwhile, Ranchi police have also tightened security following the violent protest that broke out on Friday against suspended BJP spokesperson Nupur Sharma's inflammatory remarks on the Prophet. Ranchi police said prohibitory orders under Section 144 of the CRPC was imposed on 500 meters of both sides of the main road from Albert Eka Chowk to Sujata Chowk near the overbridge. Drone surveillance was also being carried out in the affected area to keep an eye on miscreants, police said. Security personnel were engaged in night patrolling even as police authorities urged people to maintain law and order. An uneasy calm still prevails in Ranchi, with streets being deserted as prohibitory orders remained in force in parts of the city and internet services were suspended. People were asked not to venture out or they would be taken into custody, and no further violent incidents have been reported in Ranchi after irate protesters swept through parts of the city back on Friday, pelting stones and committing arson. Police had to resort to firing in the air as well as baton charging to disperse the mob. Not just this, several shops and establishments had remained shut in Ranchi in protest against the remarks made by Nupur Sharma and Delhi BJP media in charge, Naveen Jindal. The protest, one of many reported in other cities across the country, broke out after Friday prayers. Demonstrators bearing placards and shouting slogans demanded the BJP leader's arrest for her controversial remarks on the Prophet. The strong crowd of protesters eventually streamed out onto the main road and approached the temple. When police carried out a baton charge, the crowd retaliated with stone pelting, resulting in injuries to several police personnel and those caught in the crossfire. In the end, police had to resort to blank firing to disperse the violent mob. The wounded were taken to the Rajendra Institute of Medical Sciences, or RIMS, for treatment. Amongst them, 2 people later succumbed to the injuries. All right, back to the region now. What can be more tragic than a mother separated from her son? Well, in a tragic incident reported from Assam's Haflong, the mother of a 9-year-old boy from Haflong's Dimalik Raji is moving from pillar to post in search of her son. The 9-year-old boy, identified as Samarjit Roy, has been missing since the last 3 months. Samarjit, who had gone to school to appear for the exams 3 months ago, has not returned home ever since. Meanwhile, the mother is knocking all doors, leaving no stone unturned to trace her missing son.
সমরজিৎ রায় এটার নাম।
কোন স্কুলে পড়ছিল?
কানাবস্তি এলপি স্কুল।
স্কুল গেছিল নাকি?
হ্যাঁ, স্কুল গেছিল, এক্সাম আছিল, পরীক্ষা এক্সাম দিয়েছে। স্কুল থেকে স্কুল ছুটি হওয়ার পরে ওইটা কই গেছে পাত্তা খবর নাই তার, যে স্কুল থেকে। এরপরে আমি সব জায়গাতে এফআই দিছি, থানাতে এফআই দিছি, সব মেসেজেও ছাড়ছি, নিউজেও ছাড়ছি, কিচ্ছু কোনো খবর নাই তার। এরপরে আজকে 2-3 দিন পর পর থানাতে আই, কোনো খবর রিপোর্ট কোনো কিছু দেয় না আমার, খালি কয় হইব 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 ওটাই কয়, কোনো কিছু কোনো খবর উপর আমার দেন না। আজকে গিয়ে আইছি, কইছেন স্যারে কোনো রিপোর্ট কোনো খবর পাইছেন না। এখন আমি যে ওটাই চাইছি যে এখন স্যার ম্যাডামের কাছে চাইছি, আমার কোনো উপায় নেই, আমি নিরুপায় মানুষ, আমার বাচ্চার বাবাও ওরকম অসুস্থ, আমি তো মানুষের ঘরে কাজ কাম করে, এখন বাচ্চাটা কইতে কিরকম করবো ওইটা ব্যবস্থা লাগে আমি আইছি।
On to another big international news now. McDonald's restaurants today flung open their doors in Moscow once again under a new Russian ownership and a new name, Vusno and Tochka, which translates to delicious and full stop. As per reports, the first 15 restaurants of former McDonald's Corporation reopened in Moscow, and another 50 restaurants will be opening on Monday. Sunday marks a new dawn for Russia's fast food lovers, as restaurants formerly run by the hugely popular Western fast food chain reopened under new branding and with renamed burgers, more than 3 decades after McDonald's first opened in Moscow. And with that, we've come to the end of our news bulletin. Stay tuned to Northeast Live for more news and updates. Thank you for watching. Northeast Live, the most viewed news channel